Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Spinistry Live. I am your race host, Kevin Lee. Today, we're going over event details for Sunday's 2020 Hell of the North Texas out of Paris, Texas. We will be going over the route details themselves, staging details, check in, camping, restrooms, parking, all of that good stuff. We are recording this Wednesday morning, so things like availability of slots for the different events may likely be different if you are watching this later. So along those lines, let's look at current registration. Spots are limited specifically for virus safety, COVID-19, and social distancing requirements. This will be a Spinistry Safe Start event. At the moment, for our cash payout 50-mile competitive time trial, there are 34 spots left. Our 66-mile 8 a.m. fun ride, only 4 spots. 8:15, only 4 spots. And our 8:30 66-mile fun ride, only 2 spots left in that one. 100-mile race, 7 a.m. start, 7 spots remaining. 7:15 start, 9 spots remaining. And the 7:30 a.m. 100-mile race is sold out. We do have a ride on your own schedule option available. If you're not able to join us this coming Sunday, you can ride the routes on your own schedule and be recorded to the Ride with GPS virtual leaderboard. Registration is open to the general public at a rate of $45, but Club Spinistry members, it's only $10 for those folks there. When you go to the sign up page, most of the event details are available there as well. And we'll touch on some of those, and these details will be added to that event page after this video is finished. A quick glance at the weather in Paris, Texas this weekend. A little bit chance of rain today, maybe some slight showers or drizzles, but after that it starts clearing and clear all the way through Sunday. Sunday's forecast is sunny with a high near 85, south wind around 5 miles an hour. That sounds pretty primo to me. Saturday night, clear with a low around 63, south-southeast wind around 5 miles an hour. That is pertinent because we do have free camping available for tent campers and dry campers at the Civic Center Saturday night. That is part of the event. You are welcome to camp there. We do have hookups available for RVs that need hookups, but there is a charge for that. And let's go to the routes and events details. Here is an overview of all of the routes. Let's show all on the map and how they're interrelated. Obviously, the bigger loop is the 100-miler. The 66-miler highlighted in black, and there's the 50-ish mile time trial in black there. The 66-mile and 100-mile routes are not marked. They are self-navigated, and they do go in a counterclockwise. We'll go over those specifics here momentarily. The 50-ish mile competitive time trial route will be marked with Spinistry arrows, and it goes in a clockwise fashion. However, 50 milers, we do recommend GPS backup just in case an arrow gets turned by the wind or a malicious teenager, or your head is down at the wrong moment and you blow through an arrow. By joining this event, it does give you free access to the Ride with GPS navigation app if you do not have a navigation device of your own. We're going to start with looking closely at the 100-mile route for check-in and staging purposes, because these general guidelines do apply to all of the routes. And then we'll do a quick overview of these both 100-mile and 66-mile routes because they share most of the same features. And then we'll wrap up today's video with details around the 50-mile time trial. So our parking, staging, restroom, camping, timing area will be the Love Civic Center in Paris, Texas. Our main area will be right here on the south end at the Eiffel Tower We will have a tent set up there. Paris Chamber of Commerce will be setting that up for us. We don't know exact location and everything, but we will be our main area around the Eiffel Tower here. So we recommend parking on this south quadrant. Most likely we will block off these parking spaces immediately in front of the tower. There will be restroom access in the Love Civic Center from the south side. If you do plan to camp on Saturday night, this east back side of the Love Civic Center, this is where the tent camping area is here. Dry camping out in the parking lot is allowed. If you need an RV hookup, there are slots along here with hookups that we recommend. There's others out front, but we recommend our group congregating back here. We will have a phone number in the notes. If you need to arrange for hookups, you do need to call that number and make payment arrangements. It's $35 for electricity and water. I'm not sure of the amp setups that are available. I believe there's sewer or at least a dump tank available as well, but I am not positive. Again, that's only for hookups, $35 for Saturday night. Tent camping is free. Dry camping in the parking lot is free. Overnight restroom will not be in the Civic Center. It'll be up here at the pavilion area. There's a restroom up here. Also not appearing on the map or the satellite view at the moment, there is a brand new pump track here. So bring your BMX bike for the weekend and get you some pump track action in. So right now we're going to go over timings for check-in and the procedures for check-in for both the 100-miler and the 66-miler. So basically our first group of 100-milers goes out at 7 a.m., second group at 7:15, third group at 7:30. What we will want each group to do is show up approximately 15 minutes ahead of your start time. No later than that for certain. No early check-ins, please. It's extremely important. So you will show up 15 minutes prior to your start time, get your number, and we will have a staging area for everybody to start at 7 a.m. for the first group. After the first group goes out, the 7:15 group can come by, check in, get their number, line up, go out at 7:15. After that group leaves, the 7:30 group can show up, get their number, line up, and we'll send them out as a group as well. And basically the same format for the 66-milers. Again, please don't show up at 6:45 if you're have an 8:30 start expecting to get your number. We won't have the pieces in place for that. We don't want people gathering around in groups and socializing and things like this. This will be a social distance appropriate event. And again, there is restroom access here on the south side of the building. Each group that goes out at their 15-minute interval start time, we ask that you do basically a neutral start through this first intersection, less than a mile down the road. And then once everyone crosses this intersection safely, for those that are racing, you can begin your race at that point. We'll go ahead and go to the map view now. Again, less than a mile. And everything we're talking about at the moment, going in this counterclockwise direction, applies to both the 66 and 100-mile routes. We do expect that there may be short sections that are damp, potentially muddy, but the vast 99.837% of the route should be perfectly fine. But there is potentially around this mile 21 section. This applies to both the 66 and 100-milers. At mile 21, there's a field road section here that could have the potential for a little bit of mud. Please always be cognizant when there's been rain in the prior week, when we're particularly going by field roads, be cognizant of the potential for mud in front of you. Our suggestion is always to be more cautious than brave and dismount and check what's a potentially muddy section before you go rolling into it. If you go rolling into a section that's too muddy, there's no saving it at that point. You are off the bike and having to scrape mud. Whereas if you dismount and maybe walk a section, you know ahead of time that you're not going to gum up your chain and everything like that. Again, 66 and 100 mile routes. Same route for the most part. We will be going through Pattonville, approximately mile 36 and a half. Now, the map does show that there is a convenience store here, but it is closed on Sunday. We will be putting out a water table at that convenience store. Let me show you this on Street View. The plan is along this wall for us to put out a water table with individual water bottles. Please don't rifle through and sort through all the bottles. Just grab one bottle, get your sweaty paws on just one bottle at a time, and dispose of your trash appropriately. Again, we expect this convenience store to be closed on Sunday. So about mile 36 and a half for both the 66 and 100 milers. Again, on the same route, basically to mile 47 at this point. This is where the 66 mile riders go north and the 100 milers go south. Also at this split here between mile 47 and mile 58, this is at the moment an unverified section on our end. We had a ride on your own schedule rider that did the 100 miler on Monday, and our original route through here was overwhelmed with mud through this section. We're not sending people through that. At the moment, this is not verified, so 100 milers, be aware. There is a slight potential for a route update Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening after I verify this section. I don't expect to need to do that, but just be on your toes and be in a position if we do have to make a last minute change to the route Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. Be prepared for that eventuality. We don't expect to need to utilize it though. And then at this point, 100 milers are going up towards the town of Bagwell. This is extremely important for Garmin users. Garmin users, we have one short section that crisscrosses itself, and anyone that uses a Garmin and has ever done a route like this before, you know how batty that drives Garmin's. Wahoos and Ride with GPS don't seem to have an issue with this, just to let you know. So what you're going to do, you're going to be coming up south north through Bagwell. We'll do a satellite view here. And you're going to make a hard right on this road, and it goes by an old junkyard. Can't miss it. And keep continuing past the junkyard. Once you're past the junkyard, you will be past the double up section. So hopefully your Garmin will start telling you things correctly at that point. And then follow this loop. And then you'll come back to this crisscross section here. Again, you'll see the junkyard, and then onto the Northeast Texas Trail, basically for the rest of the route at about mile 82, 83, somewhere in there. Now, there is a convenience store in Detroit, but it is off of the trail itself. That is about mile 89 and a half. If you need to access that convenience store, what you'll want to do is exit the trail at this crossroads and catch the 82 shoulder. You won't be able to go from the trail directly to that store. There's a ditch that's probably water filled after this week's rains. Realistically, if you're needing a store at about that time, my recommendation is you continue on to Blossom, just another 5 or 6 miles. And there is a store in Blossom that is open on Sunday. And that is directly accessible off of the trail. You just make a hard right into this parking lot and you're at the store. And essentially from that point on, the Northeast Texas Trail, I believe, is paved all the way into Paris and back into the finish area. And I just want to highlight this, particularly if you've ridden this route with us before or ridden this ride with us before. We've typically finished here in this big pavilion area. This year, we will not be doing that. You'll come off the trail through the parking lot, hang a left, follow this trail section behind the Civic Center and back to the tower. We will have the timing station set up along here somewhere. Again, somewhat dependent upon how the chamber sets up our tent for us that weekend, so we can't outline it specifically at the moment. We'll glance at the 66-mile route real quickly, just for the mileage differences for those convenience stores. Again, about mile 47, you take this short stretch straight north into Detroit and catch the net trail. Around mile 50 and a half is where that Detroit convenience store is. Again, 66 milers. You would need to take this road off of the net and then the shoulder to the store and back. We still recommend, even for the 66 milers, if you think you need a store stop about that point, just go a few more miles to mile 57 in Blossom and you utilize that store there. And then the same finish area for the 66 milers as well. And now for our 50-mile time trial riders, a little bit of detail for this event. One thing we do want to touch on is this is a cash payout event, and we are utilizing donations to build that cash payout. Right now we are at $340 in cash payout and growing. The way the awards will be divvied up is in chunks of $100. So it doesn't matter if you're first place or second place, you're going to get the $100. Right now we are at $300 complete. We do have enough females entered. It looks like that we will also split the first female winner will get $100 and the first overall winner will get $100. And right now the second overall winner will get $100. And that will continue through however many donations we do get. If we needed at least 3 females to have a female award specifically. If we get to 10 females, we will add a second place female award if appropriate as well. And the remainder that's less than $100 of our donation pool for prize awards will go to the last place finisher within a certain time frame. We're not going to tell people ahead of time what that time frame is, because we know people will just go out there and park and just come in 12 hours after the start just so they can lock in a last place. No, we're going to establish what's a reasonable moving pace for somebody that's trying to do this event on a competitive basis, and the last person to finish within that time frame will get that remainder dollar. So if we end up with $395 of prize donations, that's $95 to the last place finisher. If it's $405, it's $5. Now that said, I'll throw in and round that up somewhat. We're not going to give just a $5 prize. Also, I had mentioned that we are doing a gender split currently for the awards. The first place female could technically also be the first or second place overall. In that eventuality, that award winner would receive both awards in that case. So that's a breakdown of the prizes for the 50-mile time trial. The more donations we get, the more potential winner slots that are out there for that. Again, the 50-miler will be going clockwise. The other routes will be going counterclockwise. So 50-milers, you will likely see other participants on the route going the opposite direction. Do not freak out on that. 50-milers will be starting out on the net trail. Nice warm up there. Not having to worry about any traffic or anything like that. It's realistically going to be about 10.5 miles in before you get to your first solid gravel. About 8 miles, 8.25, you'll be on a county road, and there will be some rough sections in it, probably some gravel in the turns, but technically this will be paved into about mile 10.5. After mile 10.5, you should be primarily dirt roads and some rough paved roads. At this section here, at this turn into Pattonville, this is where the food mart is that will have the water table for the longer distances. That's about mile 15 or so. That's when you'll start seeing riders go in the opposite direction. And also from this point on, you're on the same route the rest of the way as the longer distance riders, just going in the opposite direction. That potential mud spot I was talking about for the others is roughly between miles 30 and 31 for you. Definitely be cognizant and aware. And realistically, whenever there's been any weather, always be aware of the potential for mud, but particularly in that mile 30 to 31 segment is probably the most likely spot to potentially run into it. Time trialers, you will also cross the 286 loop. This is a high-speed intersection. Treat it appropriately, be safe. Then you'll take this last paved stretch into the Civic Center, hangar right here, and then up by the tower. And by the time we start everyone on Sunday, we should be able to show you where the finish chute will be to record your final time. The way we will do staging is basically we will have everyone form in a single file line along this Southern Drive area with proper social distancing between riders. We will send out the first rider, and they will go north on the route, start following the route, go by the timing arch somewhere in this area and record their start time. When they finish at the end, they'll come back the same way to record their finish time. As we send each rider out, the line moves up appropriately, and then we'll send the next rider out at the next time interval. If we only have a few riders, we'll probably keep that interval approximately every 2 minutes. If we do end up selling out all of the time trial spots, we will likely narrow that down to a minute or a minute and a half between starts. Again, please don't socialize and gather in groups. Single file line, 6 feet between riders, move up as a group as we send each rider out. It'll take less than 60 minutes for us to send everyone out. Obviously, you don't have to just stand here for 60 minutes. If the line is already formed, you're welcome to wait at your vehicle or warm up around the parking lot or something like that. But also 50-mile time trialers, do not show up early to check in and receive your numbers. The 66-mile group, the last 66-mile group will go out at 8:30. At 8:35, we'll open check-in for 50-milers. Hopefully we covered everything for everybody at this point, but if we missed anything, don't hesitate to post a comment or send us an email. And I am sure we'll have additional details that we send out before Sunday. Thanks for joining us on Spinistry Chat. Come back again soon.